Hello, this is Zia and welcome to another video. Today we are reading chapter 4 of Hermitcraft Subconscious Secrets, a Minecraft-inspired fanfiction where I put all Minecraft YouTubers that I enjoy watching into a Minecraft universe and see what happens. In this case, focusing on Hermitcraft, which seems pretty obvious. But yeah, I've been doing this Clockwork Chronicles thing since November 2019, so it's been a hot minute, and I'm still enjoying the ride. And if you want to enjoy the ride as well, feel free to keep on watching. There are captions available if you want to follow along while I read the chapter. If you want, you don't have to, but it is there. And other than that, let's get into it. Scar raised his bow, squinting one eye as he aimed at the target. A scarecrow with a target block for a body, a fence for legs, and a dispenser for a face. Scar fired the bow, watching the arrow whiz through the air, right on the bullseye. A cornflower spat out of the dispenser. Scar smiled. He strolled over to the scarecrow, plucking the arrow from where it was embedded. That's for making my nightmares eventful. He snickered at himself, turning to try again when he paused. The air was still, afternoon sun bathing his back. A few tall, custom trees were dotting his new home, and he could have sworn he'd seen something hiding behind the nearest one. He shook his head. It was probably Caleb, checking on the perimeter again. He was used to it at this point, especially now that some time had passed since he had to face the men who wanted him gone. Scar shook the thought aside, looking back at the scarecrow. You should know more than anyone. I'm not scared of you, of what you were, of what you've become. You're just a broken man looking for peace in all the wrong places. He raised his bow and fired again. Another cornflower spat out of the dispenser. Scar chuckled. If only he had this good aim when facing the army of Gerald clones. The air around him grew cold then, the world seeming to close in around him. Scar was frozen in place, his mind going back to that horrible night, where his nightmares became real. Dozens of Gerald faces pressed against the force field, trying to get through, to get to him. Scar closed his eyes and sighed. Gerald wasn't here. She didn't know where he was. The man couldn't hurt him now. Not when his friends were closer. Now, closer than they had ever been. Hermits weren't the only ones who had his back either. He wasn't going to let some man who defied death take what mattered to him. He opened his eyes, marching to the scarecrow, ripping the arrow out of the target so hard that a few pieces of straw exploded out of the target block. Scar didn't care, staring at the dispenser, daring it to challenge him, daring it to... What? What did he expect a silly little scarecrow to do? It was just for target practice. Maybe I should try hitting you with a spear next time. See how you like that. Scar said nonchalantly to the scarecrow, whirling around to walk away, putting his bow and arrow away as he started toward the house. Caleb wouldn't want him to be out here too long, especially since they didn't know how far they could push the leg braces that allowed him to walk. Another one of Impulse's genius inventions. It was cool, yes, but Scar did miss some of the features he had with the wheelchair. You can't have everything, I suppose. Scar opened the door to his base, freezing when the door creaked open loudly. He relaxed, laughing at himself. Maybe green was starting to rub off on him after all. Again, Scar couldn't blame his friend for being a little paranoid. The young hermit had been through a lot, more than anyone over the past year. Next to Scar himself and Impulse, they had seen some pretty scary stuff. been exposed during the most vulnerable moments, had seen friends die, unable to do anything to stop it. Scar swallowed, forcing himself to smile, to chase away the dark thoughts, while they still lingered like thorns. He knew it would get better. That's why they let Rose take them here, to this new, untouched world. A world untainted by the cruel wickedness of Gerald and his silly little henchmen. That made the hermits snore with laughter, Gerald being in charge of a circus. Not a bad look. Sorry, Scar. Scar made his way to the kitchen, catching a distant meow in the other room. Jelly appeared from the meeting room, lumbering over to him, her green eyes expectant and sharp. Hungry, girl? Let's see what we've got over here, Scar said cheerfully, opening one of the cupboards, fishing up a small bundle. Looks like we're running low. I'll have to drop by the valley to see if I can't get more. Jelly meowed again. Scar looked down at her and frowned. The fur on the back of her neck was standing up, her tail swishing stiffly back and forth. What's the matter, Giles? Got spooked by a ghost? Here. He slipped a salmon out of the bundle and offered it to her. Jelly approached him cautiously, sniffing the fish for a moment. Her head suddenly whipped around to somewhere behind her, ears down, as she stared at the wall, not making a sound. It's okay. The fish won't hurt you, Scar chuckled. His gentle voice seemed to calm the feline as Jelly looked at the fish again, before snatching it out of the hermit's hand and dashing away with her prize. Scar laughed. You are one strange cat, aren't you? He replaced the bundle in the cupboard and let it shut. His mind wandered back to Grian. Jelly oddly reminded him of the younger hermit. It was the way she acted. She'd been helping Impulse and Beat-Ups. He'd been helping Impulse and Beat-Ups connect the alarm system to the safe house where the protectors were living. What was he doing now? He seemed nervous and on edge about something, but Scar couldn't put his finger on it. Pulled out his communicator, hesitating for a moment, unsure of what he just heard. It sounded like footsteps, feet, or paws brushing against the dry grass. Perhaps it was just a rabbit passing by. Better be careful that Jelly didn't find it, otherwise it might become her snack. Scar chuckled at the thought, before tapping a few buttons. Hey, G, what are you up to? Scar asked casually. I'm just hanging out at the safe house. Impulse, Gem, and I are practicing with the headbands. That's cool. How's that going? Pretty good, Green said quickly. How's Jels? She's having a snack right now, in fact. I was just going to ask you about going fishing with me. Oh, Green hesitated. The protectors seem to be pretty on edge lately. That didn't stop you before, Green chuckled. I'll come. I don't want you to be alone out there. Just in case. You said they haven't found us. They haven't, Green stated matter-of-factly. Just, the lake isn't lit up very well yet, and the googlies have gotten a lot tougher lately. Really? Scar raised an eyebrow. Not planning to be out there long. Yeah, Joe and Cleo ran into a couple of zombies with iron armor. One even had a nasty sword. Sharpness 3. Yikes, Scar flinched. I wonder where they picked those up. Me too, Grian said quietly. Liam won't tell me anything more, and Beat-Ups even said Isaac's been acting weird. Should we bump up the dragon fight then? Are we ready? Green asked. If they're close, it might not be a bad idea to have wings on hand, Scar said. I don't think we've been found, so maybe it's fine. Next week's still on the docket? That's the date everyone agreed on. Perfect, Scar said confidently. I'll see you at the lake. Please be careful, Green whispered. I'm fine, Scar insisted. Really? Okay, Green said quietly. I'll talk to you then. Scar disconnected the call, looking out toward the window. They still had a few good hours. It'd be good to see Green again. An idea hit him just then. The grin formed on his face. He disappeared into his storage room to prepare. The fishing trip wasn't going to be like any old one they had before. Perhaps even unforgettable. Scar arrived at the lake, his arms full of spears as he spotted Green sitting on a flat boulder, watching the tree line in the distance. Spruce trees stretched up toward the sky like little arrows, as if they were telling them to fly. Fly far away to happily ever after. Was this place supposed to be happily ever after? No, of course it wasn't. This new world was temporary, just like everything else. It would fade someday, stripped of all that it was worth. Like they had to their last home. And the one before that. They moved when they needed to. This move, too, was a tactical one. A chance to prepare. To have a chance for normal. Even if it didn't last. It took Scar a moment to realize that Green wasn't alone. Sitting on a tree branch was Jem. And on a fallen log, Impulse, who fiddled with his communicator as if he was checking for something. I didn't expect all of you to come here, Scar teased. Green jumped, turning to see his friend. Green smiled sheepishly. They kind of insisted. Scar nodded, looking over at his friends, still some distance away. He rose his voice. Not a problem here. Take a spear. What's it for? Green asked, curiously, taking the weapon Scar offered him. Fishing. How? Green blinked, looking at the lake. Those are too heavy to throw, especially in the water. There's a way. If there's a will, there's a way, Scar smirked. Isn't that what they always say? Green giggled, lifting his spear over at the other hermits. Come on, we've got plenty. Are you sure? Impulse looked up from his device with a frown. Shouldn't someone keep watch? Be silly, Jim giggled, hopping down from the tree, pulling Impulse up by the arm. There is no way they know where we are. Yeah, no way, Impulse chuckled, putting the communicator away. We can play hide and seek later if you want to practice, Jem teased, nudging the older hermit playfully, before crossing the distance, plucking a spear effortlessly from Scar's pile. Whoever gets the most fish before dusk wins. Oh, you're so on. Impulse grinned, catching up to her and taking a spear himself. Scar chuckled as his three friends dashed toward the lake, Green and Jem jumping in immediately. Scar noted Impulse, paused for a moment, eyeing the tree line before Jem called his name. He jumped in after her, and the three of them laughing. You joining us, Scar? Green asked, piercing a fish with the spear, lifting it as the fish flopped aimlessly in the air, impaled like a kebab. I wouldn't miss this for the world. Scar dropped his spears, picking up one before joining his friends. It was the most fun he'd had in months, if not a year. They were together, and nothing was ever going to change that. He didn't even notice the shadow that slipped along the tree line. It was probably a fox or a wolf, though it was too big to be either. And that is the end of that episode. And that chapter. Chapter 5, we'll be going into Impulse's perspective as things start to heat up. Yep, things are about to get a little warmer. Just like it is in my room right now. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, stay tuned for next week. Or whenever you decide to tune back in. You don't have to watch these chapters in order, but these aren't standalone chapters, so yeah, you might get spoiled. And don't mind, that's fine, but That's up to you. But I'm rambling. I'll see you guys in the next one. Whenever that might be. Goodbye.